Welcome back to Chrono Tales, where legends refuse to die and the past haunts the present. I'm your host, and tonight we venture into the dark woods of Fairfax County, Virginia, where a concrete bridge holds secrets that span decades of terror. This is the bone-chilling tale of the Bunny Man Bridge. They say that some places are cursed, marked by violence so brutal that the very ground remembers. The Colchester overpass is one such place, but locals know it by another name, a name whispered in fear on Halloween nights and dared only by the foolish. They call it the Bunny Man Bridge. October 31st, 2023. 4 college students from George Mason University decided to test an urban legend that had haunted Northern Virginia for over 50 years. Their names were Jake Morrison, Sarah Chen, Marcus Williams, and Rebecca Becca Torres. They thought they were going on a harmless Halloween adventure.
Okay, so remind me again why we're doing this instead of going to the party on campus.
Because, Jake, some experiences can't be bought with a keg and a playlist. This is real Northern Virginia folklore.
Real folklore. Sarah? It's just some story about a crazy guy in a bunny suit who supposedly killed people here in the 1970s.
Actually, the legend goes back further than that. My grandmother told me stories about this place when I was little. She said something terrible happened here during the Civil War.
The 4 friends walked along the railroad tracks toward the concrete overpass. Built in 1906, the bridge was originally part of the Washington and Ohio Railroad line. But by 1970, it had become the focal point of one of Virginia's most terrifying legends.
According to this article, it all started on October 22, 1970, when Air Force Academy cadet Robert Bennett and his fiancée were parked under the bridge. A man in a white bunny suit approached their car, smashed the passenger window with a hatchet, and screamed, "You're on private property, and I have your tag number."
See? Just some weirdo in a costume trying to scare people. Probably a local farmer, tired of kids parking on his land.
But that's not where the story ends. Marcus? 2 weeks later, security guard Paul Phillips was found hanging from the bridge, decapitated. A note pinned to his body read, "You are on private property, and I will not tolerate trespassers." The Bunny Man.
As they approached the bridge, the autumn wind carried with it the scent of decay and something else. Something metallic, like old blood mixed with rusted iron.
There it is. It's the infamous Bunny Man Bridge.
The Colchester overpass loomed before them like a concrete mouth in the darkness. Graffiti covered its walls, but even in the dim light of their flashlights, they could make out darker stains that no amount of spray paint could completely cover. The 4 friends gathered beneath the bridge, their flashlight beams dancing across the concrete walls. The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees in the shadow of the overpass, and their breath began to mist in the October air.
Look at these scratches in the concrete. They're everywhere.
Probably just from maintenance work over the years.
Sarah, look closer. These aren't tool marks. They're claw marks or something designed to look like them?
Indeed, the walls of the bridge were covered with deep gouges, as if something with razor-sharp claws had been desperately trying to escape from within the concrete itself.
Okay, this is officially creepy, but it's still just some elaborate hoax that's been going on for decades.
Marcus, check this out.
Jake had found something wedged between two concrete blocks. A rusted piece of metal that looked disturbingly like the blade of a hatchet.
Is that?
Could be, or it could be a piece of old farm equipment. This whole area was farmland before they built the suburbs.
My grandmother told me something else about this place. She said that during the Civil War, there was a Confederate hospital train that derailed near here. Dozens of soldiers died, and their bodies were never properly buried.
Great. So now it's not just a guy in a bunny suit, but also Civil War ghosts.
As if summoned by Becca's words, the distant sound of a train whistle echoed through the night air. But the railroad line had been abandoned for decades.
Did you guys hear that?
Probably just a raccoon or something. This place is full of wildlife.
They explored the area beneath the bridge for another 20 minutes, taking photos and videos for their social media accounts. But as midnight approached, the atmosphere began to change.
Is it just me? Or is it getting really cold really fast?
October in Virginia. Becca, what did you expect?
What was that?
Probably just a raccoon or something. This place is full of wildlife.
But the rustling wasn't random animal movement. It was deliberate, methodical, as if something was circling them in the darkness beyond their flashlight beams.
That's not an animal. Someone's out there.
Probably just another group of college kids trying to scare us.
The footsteps stopped abruptly, leaving only the sound of their own breathing and the distant hum of traffic on the nearby highway.
Hello, is someone there?
Maybe we should go. This is getting a little too real for me.
The laughter that echoed through the woods was unlike anything they had ever heard. It wasn't quite human, wasn't quite animal, but something caught between the two, something that had perhaps forgotten how to be either. The four friends huddled together beneath the bridge, their flashlights forming a circle of light in the oppressive darkness. The laughter had stopped, but they could still feel something watching them from the shadows.
We need to leave. Now.
It's just someone trying to scare us. Some local kid who knows the legend and wants to mess with tourists.
But the footsteps weren't coming from just one direction. They surrounded the bridge, circling like predators stalking their prey.
There's more than one of them.
Or it's just echoes. Sound bounces weird off concrete.
The scratching sound came from directly above them, as if something was clawing at the top of the bridge. Dust and small pieces of concrete began to rain down on them.
Look up there!
For just a moment, illuminated by their flashlight beams, they saw a figure crouched on top of the bridge. It was humanoid in shape, but wrong in proportions. Too tall, arms too long, and wearing what appeared to be a dirty white costume with long, drooping ears. The figure dropped from the bridge and landed in the darkness beyond their light. They could hear it moving around them, just outside their vision.
"You're on private property."
The voice was exactly as described in the 1970 police reports. A harsh whisper that seemed to come from a damaged throat, speaking words that had been repeated for over 50 years.
"Run! Everyone run!"
The four friends ran from beneath the bridge, but the thing in the bunny suit wasn't finished with them. It pursued them through the woods, crashing through underbrush with inhuman speed and agility.
It's following us. It's actually following us.
"The car? Get to the car!"
They reached Jake's car and piled in, slamming the doors behind them. Jake's hands shook as he tried to start the engine.
Come on, come on.
As they pulled away from the bridge, all four of them saw the same thing in the headlights. A tall figure in a tattered white bunny costume standing in the middle of the road, holding what looked like a rusted hatchet.
Did you see its face?
It didn't have one. Not really, just darkness where a face should be.
They drove in silence for 10 minutes before anyone spoke again. When they finally did, it was Marcus who broke the silence.
What the hell was that thing?
I don't know, but it wasn't human. Not anymore.
The four friends spent the next 3 days researching everything they could find about the Bunnyman Bridge. What they discovered was far more disturbing than the urban legend they thought they knew.
Look at this newspaper archive from 1904. There was a train derailment near the bridge site. But it wasn't a hospital train, Becca. It was a prisoner transport.
What kind of prisoners?
It says here they were transferring inmates from the DC asylum to a new facility in Virginia. The train derailed and caught fire. Most of the prisoners died, but some escaped into the woods and were never found.
Here's something else. In 1969, 1 year before the first Bunnyman sighting, they found the skeletal remains of someone in the woods near the bridge. The bones showed signs of severe mental illness, specifically self-mutilation and evidence of living wild for decades.
So you're saying that the Bunnyman might be one of those escaped asylum patients?
Or his descendant. Someone who's been living wild in those woods for generations.
Becca's phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. The message contained only coordinates and a single word. Come.
Guys, look at this.
Those coordinates, they're for the bridge.
We're not going back there. No way.
But what if it's trying to communicate? What if it needs help?
Sarah, that thing chased us through the woods with a hatchet. It doesn't need help. It needs to be avoided.
The second message was a photo taken from inside the bridge tunnel. It showed the four friends from their visit 3 nights ago. But in the background, barely visible, were dozens of other figures. Pale, gaunt shapes that seemed to emerge from the concrete walls themselves.
How many of them are there?
And how long have they been watching people who visit the bridge?
That night, Jake drove back to the bridge alone. Not because he wanted to, but because he felt compelled to. The other 3 tried to stop him, but something was calling him back to that concrete overpass in the woods. When the police found Jake's car the next morning, it was parked beneath the bridge with the engine still running. The driver's side door was open, and scratched into the concrete wall nearby was a message. "Welcome to the family. The Bunny Man."
11825, code 6, 105 North Avenue, 52.
Jake Morrison was never found. But locals report that on certain October nights, when the moon is dark and the wind carries the scent of decay, you can see figures moving beneath the Colchester overpass. Tall, gaunt shapes in tattered clothing, led by something in a dirty white bunny suit that was once human, but has long since forgotten what humanity means. Sarah, Marcus, and Becca never returned to the bridge. But sometimes, on Halloween night, they receive text messages from Jake's phone number. The messages are always the same: coordinates for the bridge, and an invitation to join a family that has been growing beneath the concrete for over a century. And that concludes tonight's journey into the darkness. Remember, some legends exist because they serve as warnings. The Bunny Man Bridge stands as a testament to what happens when the line between legend and reality disappears completely. Thank you for joining me in the shadows. Until next time, remember that some invitations are best left unanswered, and some bridges are meant to be crossed only in daylight, if at all.